Okay guys, I think I've got this figured out somewhat. Trying not to bump the light stand, but it's exactly what's going to happen. Okay. So bear with me on my first time. Damn it. I'm trying really hard not to keep doing that. That's good. Okay. So how's everyone's summer going so far? I feel like ours has been crazy already. So I have the temporary tattoo. I'm going to do my best to center it since I have to do this at a weird angle. I get it wet just like I do on my skin. Get it really wet so that when you pull the paper off, it doesn't pull the tattoo off. Just take your time. Okay, I think it's ready. It's so funny recording because I just like say exactly what I'm thinking in my head, except I'm saying it out loud. Why didn't it work? Oh, you guys, you have to take the plastic off first. Yeah. So there's that. Oh no, I ruined it. I guess I didn't do it right. Okay. That is okay. I have one more. So annoying. Okay guys, take 3. Every time I move I jiggle the camera. Anyway, so what I'm doing first is I'm cutting out the picture that I want for the tray. I ruined the first one. I had to do another try. So make sure this top plastic cover comes off. Set that aside, throw it away, whatever you want to do. Then I make sure that this is centered somewhat. And then we just get it wet like you would on your skin. Just get it soaked pretty much, and then, you know, it stays on the tray. What I've noticed is on this tray is it has left a permanent imprint on the tray of the one that I did previously. See if it worked this time. Nope, not quite wet enough. This isn't even the part where you have to be the most patient doing it. You just have to wait. And then there's the ridges on the back side of the tray too. Let's see, did it turn out? Oops. Yay, one little part stuck to it, but it worked out. It laid back down fine. So then I've got this other one. It's like a traditional design tattoo. So two little birds. So this is, I'll hold it up to the light and make sure I have it centered correctly when they're this big. Just because I have to get it in there evenly as possible. So let's see, is that good? No, it's crooked. And it shouldn't stick all the way unless it's, I mean, if you've already started getting it wet, then that's your last chance. That's not lined up. Pretty good. Okay, I'm running out of water. It's So how's everybody's summer going so far? Today was a cool day. It was only like 85 degrees. Oh, I have no water at all left in this towel. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Try not to hit the stand. So that'll all be edited out because that's such a long wait for me. I usually have a cup of water here and use it that way, and I just didn't think about it this time. Anyway, back to summer. It was 106 the other day, and then today it was like 85 with a breeze, and last night wasn't too bad either. It's so nice and cool in the evenings here. I live in Washington State, and I live on the other side of the mountains from the Seattle area, so we don't have that kind of weather. We have really hot weather most of the time during the summer. So yeah, fortunately we have a pool here, so we can cool off at least in that sometimes. Sometimes you get little air bubbles in it, but I got it off. Yay! I don't want to mess with it too much because then it'll stick to my finger and I'll ruin the whole thing. But my friend told me a long time ago I should make videos of me doing wire wrapping the stones. I also wire wrap coins. I'm going to do a video of that as well here shortly. So that's all done. Make sure this one's down right. Okay, so the next thing is I've got to figure out where I want things, and then I'll do the resin after I get my mask on, and we'll just go through it. But I have these little spider web things, and I kind of like them just being in the corners like this. I just think that's so cool. It doesn't look even though, because one side sticks out farther than the other, but that's okay. I think we're going to be all right. And then this one. And I am guilty of loving things to be symmetrical. So if I have one on one side, I want one on the other side. Let's see. There we go. So the thing about resin is you have to let it cure. So I'll be doing this part of the video today, and then I'll have to come back and finish it tomorrow. I should be able to do it all in a couple of days. And then I'll edit and I'll post it. I'm also learning how to use TikTok. My kids and my grandkids are helping me. I really just started doing resin work about, a couple years ago. I had a roommate, I lived with her and her son, and I don't know what happened. I think I just stumbled upon it on YouTube one time, and I just kept watching him and then thinking, I'd really like to try that. I've never tried that before. And before that, I was doing wire wrapping only, pretty much. Jewelry, sun catchers, little sun catchers that are just a string. It's not just a string. It's a strand of whatever I put on it. Like some of them have dragonflies. I'll have to post pictures of them. I have one friend that has hers still, and another friend, hers broke, so I have to fix it. But, I should turn these over too so they match, because one part of the web is sticking out. Okay, so there's that. So what I need to do now is I'll put my mask on, and then I'll have to put a thin layer of resin on the tray just so these can settle in. And I'm going to put flowers on this one. So I'll see you here in a little bit. Clean up a little bit. Thanks, guys. Stick around. Okay, here's where I'm doing my first audio recording. We'll see how it goes. Basically, this video is going to be really long, and hopefully I get better and better at the editing, so it won't take so long. So here's where I make sure I have my gloves on before you start measuring the resin, and you don't want to get it on your skin because it seeps into your skin, and then it can make you very sick. It's not just inhaling it that can be a problem, it's getting it on your skin. And I'll tell you, once it gets on your skin, it's pretty hard to get it off. I have to use soap and water and scrub. On some other things you can use rubbing alcohol or baby wipes, but on the skin you have to really scrub it. So this is the resin that I'm using, is the Let's Resin epoxy resin, and it works pretty good. You know, I still get some bubbles, but not a lot. And if I'm using color like mica or alcohol ink or something in my resin, I tend to not worry so much about the bubbles. I make sure it's stirred. You know, it's recommended to stir at least 3 to 5 minutes and make sure both parts blend together really well. And then if you have bubbles, you can let it sit for a few minutes and they'll slowly dissipate. But I'm also wearing a mask, which is why I have to do the audio, because when I talk with the mask on, you just can't. It's like talking to someone who's got their hand over the speaker on the phone. You can't hear or understand it. And I was mixing the resin on the side so that you didn't have to sit through the whole thing. And then, so I had an experience when I first started doing resin. I was in my bedroom and I was doing a tray that had little hearts and circles and squares and diamonds and all that stuff. And I thought, okay, well, that's not bad. I'll just do that in the bedroom. First time trying it, they're small. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Well, it was. I woke up in the middle of the night and my throat was burning and it was hurting so bad and my chest hurt. So I thought, okay, well, these fumes are no joke. Like, when they say don't breathe it in, use PPE, they mean it. It's very serious. So I opened the window up as far as I could, where I was at in the bedroom, and it got a little bit better. But I mean, it sticks with you. You know, it's the same thing as when it gets on your hands and stuff. But you just have to be careful, really careful. Use the proper precautions. When it was recording the first part of the video, you can hear my fan in the background. I have a fan in the window that pulls the air outside, and that helps tremendously. And then it's in a room that has that kind of ventilation. I mean, it could be some big fancy setup, but I don't have the space for that. Like if I have my own craft area, like say I get a house and it has a shop, and you know, make sure it's all nice and insulated and all that stuff, then you know, that would be one thing. But just having a bedroom or a bedroom that is a craft room, sorry, it's just not the same. But I do have ventilation. I am wearing my PPE. Another thing is, you definitely want to wear your hair up if you have long hair, because I also made one mistake. I'm telling you, one time I did this. I got in a hurry. I was excited to do what I was doing. I was sitting there, and the next thing I know, I lean forward to check something up close, and my hair gets in the resin. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to cut my hair off. I have no idea how to get this out. But fortunate for us, we have Google, so I figured out how to get it out of my hair, and I did manage to get it out, so crisis averted. But yeah, and you don't want to wear long sleeves because it's just easier to work without something like that in the way. You know, your sleeves can get into it, your elbow can get into it. It's just better to wear short sleeves, put your hair up, wear your mask, wear your gloves, and you can use an apron if you want. Like, I just use clothes that are specifically for working with my resin and my other crafts, so that if something gets on them or they get ruined, it doesn't matter because it's stuff specifically for that. It doesn't ruin it. So you can see I got out some dried flowers. I just basically picked out the colors that I wanted, and then I'll figure out how to lay it out when I get to that point. I just kind of have ideas in my head, and it takes me a while to work out the picture all together at one time, and then when I sit down I feel like I'm ready to go. And I like mixing the different elements and seeing how they work together. So, and like I said, art has no rules. There's nothing wrong in art. There's just all kinds that I absolutely love. Now, I can appreciate art that I can't necessarily do myself. And that's okay. I mean, that's how most of us are. We appreciate things. Maybe we wish we could be like a lead singer in a band, but you don't have to be. You can still appreciate the music and understand how it works. Or like play a piano, learn how to read the sheet music, all that stuff. But you can still appreciate it without that actually being something that you do. So here I'm putting some more of the spider webs on the edge of it. So when the resin goes over it, you'll be able to see them around the edge as more just decoration. So I dumped all those out, and then I was like, oh, cool, now I have to clean it all up. But it doesn't matter. It was easier to dump it out than to keep digging into the bag and getting some out. So you can see the resin is just sitting there. I'm letting some of the bubbles get out while I finish decorating this tray. And I do have other molds. Just a lot of the tutorials that I've watched, they do the trinket trays, and it's because it's so easy. But the other molds aren't bad either. I've done a lot of things. I have molds in there I haven't even tried because I keep working with the trays, and then I thought I need to do something. I need to do other things and just try my creativity at those molds. I've done some skulls. I learned some different techniques for doing the skulls. I did one with bullet shells in it and clear epoxy. It's pretty cool. I took that idea from someone on YouTube. So I take ideas, I learn the skills, I learn the steps, and I learn the do's and the don'ts, and then I just kind of put my ideas into them. But that one, I really did. Like, I stole his idea. I apologize. I made it for my friend. Rest in peace. He passed away in June of the end of June this year. And it's been really hard for a lot of people to accept. And, you kind of try and move on, but it's really just something it just takes time. And the pain never goes away, but, it can be something that you live with, and it's not so difficult. The main thing is, just like any other thing, like when you're in recovery and when you're just living life, it's very important to have a support system. So I hope everybody has someone they can talk to. At least, one person, because it helps out, when you're going through it. So as you can see, I am trying to be very symmetrical once again. I can see where it's not perfect, but I'm not going to get into that. One thing I said about myself about making these videos is, don't say anything negative about yourself and don't insult yourself. I hear people do that when they make their videos, and it just kind of makes me sad because, you're doing it. You're doing something. You're doing something that not a lot of people do. You're taking your craft and you are recording it. You are talking about it. You're showing it to other people. And to me, that's brave. And I don't think that you should be ashamed. I mean, we all make mistakes. We all learn from those mistakes, hopefully, and don't make them again. And when it comes to art and, all these steps that you have to do, you're just, it's trial and error, really. If you've done something you've never done before, like I've never done as a design like this, but I'm still doing it, I'm still trying it. So if there's something you want to try and do, if it's legal, I'm just saying, then do it. Try it. Learn how to do it. I tell everybody, go skydiving at least once. I went skydiving once. I can't wait to go again. It was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. It's just, you just feel so free up in the sky, and it's the most silence I've ever not heard. All I could hear was my heart beating and me breathing, and that was it. And it was so amazing. I wish I could have stayed up there longer before I had to, hit the ground. But I survived it. It was an amazing experience. And yeah, I just tell everybody, you got to try it at least once. So I'm just touching up the resin, and then I'm going to start figuring out which flowers I want where and lay them out. I have had a lot of these dried flowers for so long and just waiting for the perfect times to do them. I have a little coffin mold, and I thought, okay, I want a bunch of red and black flowers. So there's a bunch of black flowers that I have. I haven't made the coffin yet, but now's a good time of the year to do it, you know. Fall's coming up, Halloween's coming up, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I can't wait. I've got so many ideas. I could just burst. I just have to make the time to do them. And you know, when I'm tired, I don't like starting a new project, and I don't like starting projects at a certain time of the night because I'm afraid I won't be able to finish it in time before I have to go to bed. Or it gets me amped up. I love doing this stuff. It gets me pretty wired out. So I just don't start things after a certain time at night so I can just get it done, you know. I'm just going to pour this now, a thin layer, because something else I learned is when you do dried flowers or leaves or any of that kind of stuff, you want to put a thin layer down, just enough for the flowers and stuff to stick to the resin, let it cure, and then you add the rest later on as you finish the project. Because if you just lay a full layer of resin and it's thick and you're going to let it cure like that, your flowers are going to move. They're not going to face the right way. They're going to lift up. They're going to float. So you just put a very thin layer down, put the flowers on top of that, let it cure, and then you do the next part. Because trust me, you can have it perfectly laid out exactly the way you want it, and then boom, everything floats and moves if the resin layer is too thick. So that's another reason why sometimes it takes more time, because every layer that you make, it has to have time to cure. So it definitely takes a while. So you just have to, one of my things that I have not done well in the past, which, you know, like I said, I learned from it. I get excited. I have this idea in my head and I think, okay, I can just go do it. Boom, boom, boom. But then if I am too impatient, then things don't turn out the way, you know, that I plan. So I've learned to be more patient and let things take the time they have to take to get it done right. I'm just making sure everything's secure, making sure it isn't floating up. So once you pour that resin in, if you have something in the rim of it, they can also move a little bit. So I just am making sure that they're staying put where they're supposed to be, and then go from there. I'm being a bit of a perfectionist, it looks like, so we don't need to do that, but I can't help it. I just want it to look the way I want it to look. You know, when you have a vision in your head, you want it to be that. You want it to come to life. And yeah, sometimes that takes time. And I'm doing 2 trays at once because I wanted to. They both take about the same amount of time as far as the items that I put in the resin, the mixing, everything that I add to it. The colors and I don't know what you call it, embellishments, I guess. Everything that you add to it. So right there I was trying to pop a little bubble that was there. So we're going to lay out the flowers. And when you do this, you're working from the bottom up. Or the top. The front is facing down. So when you lay the flowers in, you want to lay them face down. And then when you have the trinket tray is all done, the base coat is on the top of the tray, but when you take it out, it's on the bottom. So everything's face forward on these things.
the trays, I guess. The molds, sorry. M-O-U-L-D, mold. The molds. The flat ones anyway. But then there's other things. If you want to do it so that the part at the top of the mold is actually your top, you can't really do it with the trays because they have the rim, the edge, and it's got a lip. So you can't really do that with these, but there's other things you can. Like I have a big serving tray mold and it's got 4 coasters that goes with it. And that one you work from the bottom up. So the top of your tray, depending on what you put on it, is going to be the top of your tray because you have to put the handles on it from the top. So if that makes sense. I hope I'm not confusing anybody. That's just another one that I have. I have a list in a notebook of ideas that I have so that when I sit down, I say, I know I want to make something, I just can't decide what to make. Then I have a little list there and I say, okay, well, I'll make this one today. And then it just makes me feel a little more relaxed knowing that it's already there. I'm not, having racing thoughts of all these 10 million ideas at one time. I can just look at the paper and pick one out and do it. So these are some more colorful flowers. Most of those are going to go in the other tray with the face. But we're still working on this one with the, what are those birds called? I know everybody knows. Cardinals? Is there cardinal? I think so. I could be wrong. Please do tell me if it's wrong. If I said the wrong word. Okay, well, this is kind of a red flower. And the background colors I want to use on this tray are going to be some red and some black and I think some white. So I'm adding some of the same color flowers to the tray, as you'll see. I can't believe it's taking me this long to edit and add the audio over my video. It just has. I get nervous about something and then I think about it, and what am I going to say, and then watch the video so I know what to say where. But really, I'm just talking, explaining each step, and there's a lot of dead air with this because we're just watching each step as I'm going. Some of these tweezers I have, it's a whole set. Some of them don't work very well, so this pair is actually holding on to the flowers, and I can actually maneuver them. Some of them, they don't even hold the things that I use in them. So it's kind of like I put the tweezer on something and then it just falls out. It doesn't work. But these tweezers seem to work pretty well. What I'm doing here is I'm taking the popsicle stick and I'm pushing down on the flower to try and make sure there's no air bubbles underneath it. Because if there's air bubbles underneath it, that's the first thing you see when you take it out of the mold, is there's air bubbles under the flowers or whatever you have on there. So I'm just trying to make sure there's none sitting under there. And again, this is another thing. If you have too much resin in there before you lay these kinds of things, flowers and stuff on it, then you're more likely to get air bubbles that way too. So I may have added a little too much resin for this layer, but I mean, ultimately, this should be okay. Should be just fine. And see, even though some of the flowers broke, like the petals are there floating around, you can still use them. It's just, we just go with the flow. We create, we mix things together, we make it happen. And just use your creativity and your ideas. Now, what you don't know is when this part's happening and it's quiet and I have my mask on, I'm usually listening to music on my phone. And what I want to do is figure out how to add the music in the background instead of me talking the whole entire time. But I haven't learned how to do that yet. I've still got to learn it. And because of that, right now what you get is me just placing little petals in around the tray just to add some color and just make it pretty, fill in some spaces, stuff like that. I have crushed glass. I finally ordered some, and it actually, the size of the container that it comes in isn't really big, but it actually goes a long, long way. I mean, it really does. I used what I thought was a lot in one of the trays I made, and I have so much left still. So a little bit goes a long way with a lot of things. Sorry, I had to take a drink of my Dr. Pepper Zero. I don't know when the last time was that I had one. Hasn't been that long ago though, maybe a few days. I try not to drink it every single day because it's just not good for you. You should be drinking water. But I'll usually have some coffee. I don't drink a whole pot of coffee. I drink like maybe half a cup when I leave the house, before I leave the house. And then if I get a coffee shop coffee, I'll usually just have one a day, or one a day, not as like one every day, but one for that day. Because that's just expensive. I don't know if you know that. If you buy coffees, you know. There are some big chains that I don't care for. There's one, and I won't name any names. But they only have one sugar-free option for syrup, and it's vanilla. So everything else that you order from them, I'm getting the resin off the tweezers. You get it off as soon as you can, or it'll harden and you won't be able to get it off very easily. So one of these chains has just one sugar-free flavor. So if you want to add chocolate or caramel or anything else to it, it's all sugar. So it kind of defeats the purpose of having just one sugar-free syrup. But it just depends on what you want to do. I like having options. I don't like having just the same thing every single time, or you know what I mean? I mean, you don't want to indulge in things like that, but you could definitely, I treat myself, but I honestly buy too many coffees probably. Oh, I was talking to the barista the other day, and I was talking about eggnog lattes. Let me just tell you, it's an addiction, for sure, for sure. So every year they do it during the fall and part of the winter, and it's the only time of year that they have the eggnog lattes. So in the past, I have literally had one every single day, and I'll tell you, my clothes get tighter just for that amount of time in the year, and then you add in all the holiday meals and all that, and I drive pretty much all day. So, but this year's different. I have been exercising lately. I've been walking. I got this thing from TikTok. It's where you stand on it and then you like rotate at your waist. So you're working on your core muscles, you're working on your leg muscles, you're working on your arm muscles. And I recently lost about 52 pounds, 51, 52 pounds. So I'm trying to incorporate exercise into that and not just eating less and watching my sugar and not buying a bunch of junk food. And I'll tell you, my joints feel better. Everything feels better. I just don't feel yucky inside. I feel a lot better. And I do a lot more. So, but the job is I just drive a lot. I sit a lot. So instead of being stagnant, I made a decision to be proactive in it. I don't want to gain the weight back. I don't want to be unhealthy again. So I'm just trying to make better decisions for myself. So you can see here, I put some flowers on there, and I'm just trying to make sure the resin stays even in there. Some of the resin that is out there is self-leveling, but I'm pretty sure a part of my desk is not level at this point where it's sitting. And I do have one of those boards where it has a little, has the thing in the middle of it with the bubble so you can see when it's set perfectly even and flat for you. I can't figure it out. I have to have help setting it up so that it's correct, so that everything's level on it. Before I started, my friend's mom, she taught me so much about working with resin and stuff. It was cool. She gave me a bunch of stuff for free, like a bunch of mica powders and some molds and all that stuff, mixing things. And she She taught me a lot, you know. Okay. I love all the colors that we can have. Someday I'm going to get one of these flower drying contraptions that you can dry your own flowers. I saw a video of one today by one of my favorite people, Claire's Crafty Corner. I love watching her videos. I learned so much, and she's so upbeat, and I just love it. And so, yeah, I just learned a lot from her and take it and run with it, you know. But she had a video demonstrating and using for the first time this thing that you can dry flowers in the microwave. It's got instructions that you obviously have to follow, or things aren't going to turn out the way that you want them to. So, but I think it's funny because I've had that thing in my cart, on my Amazon cart, for a long time. A very long time. So eventually I'll buy it now that I've seen somebody else use it. I'm feeling more confident in it, you know, and I feel like you have to go out there in the spring and the summer and get the flowers that you want, so you can dry them and then you can just have them during the winter. I don't know, like stocking up, I guess. Say I'm a hibernating bear. You gotta stock up on the supplies I'll need. I guess I'll find out if you guys can hear me drinking my soda or not, because you probably can. I also have some microphones that I haven't used yet. I need to figure out how to use them. But I have plans. I have so many plans. I have so many ideas. You know, here's the thing. Life is short. Life is so short. And, you know, I talk about recovery on this channel as well as art. I talk about how art can help people in their recovery, because it can be relaxing. For some people it's stressful. For some people it's like, I can't sit there that long and mess with this. I need to be doing something fast and constant and just move it right along. But I like the whole process. It's like meditation in a way. I like the whole process of doing all this. You can see how many steps there are doing it, and I just love it. It's just so relaxing to me personally. But yeah, I'm trying to move that and then it's just falling apart. So I'm just going with the flow. I'm not sure why I put those in the bottom of that cup, but okay. But I like the way that turned out with the little bits floating around. It's kind of like, it's just kind of blowing in the wind is what it reminds me of. Got that one piece of, I think it's a lavender. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. But it is a bit purple. There I am. I'm just, like I said, I'm getting the air bubbles out from under the flowers, making sure there's none stuck under there. So when you flip it over, it's not going to be as, it should all be flat and cohesive without air bubbles, because once they're there, they're there. You can't get rid of them. And when I work with EcoPore resin, it's definitely, it's tricky with that. Sorry, I had something on my arm. It's tricky. So I just can't wait to try all these new projects I have. Apparently I had something stuck there that I couldn't get off. So do our best. You know, we do our best. Picking out some more colors. There's some more of that. I just don't think it's lavender. Lavender is usually more full than that. It's not so, it's sparse on the on the little stem there. Just seems like it's too small and too thin to be lavender. Either way, it's pretty. I love those face tattoos. I honestly can't find them anywhere now. I had these ones that I ordered. It was either Amazon or Temu. And there was a few of them in there, and I used most of them up. And then I can't find them anymore. I even typed in the product number online, because on each tattoo thing it has a little number on it. So I tried that. I tried typing in the name of the manufacturer, everything, and I can't find them anywhere. So it's been a few months, so I'll probably try again and see if I can find them again, because it's a really popular design, that whole, just the outline of the face coming all together with just one single line. They're got to be out there somewhere. I got to be able to find them. And then we've got some pretty little flowers there. You can see above by the lamp is a mold that I have that's actually for a tea light candle holder. I think I showed that in a video I did the other day. I paid for 3 spots at 3 different holiday bazaars this year. So I'm pretty excited about that. A little bit nervous, because you never know, like, are my things going to sell? Are they not going to sell? Am I going to have enough for people to choose from? That whole thing. So I'll be making more things more regularly, because the first one's in October, and then there's one the end of November, and then there's one the beginning of December. So I'll be making fall items, Halloween items, and then Christmas items. And I'll tell you, I'm one of those people. It's all or nothing. So when my mind is made up about something and I'm excited about something, and I can't wait to make new things and put all these ideas out there, I buy a lot of things at one time, because I hate starting a project and then not having everything I need when I want to do it. And then I have to wait and wait and wait. Which there's nothing wrong with waiting, but I'll tell you, it kind of sucks sometimes, if you know what I'm saying. So I end up buying a lot of things all at once and just have it so that when I want it, like all these dried flowers, I bought a whole bunch of dried flowers all at once, and I still have quite a bit. Left. And then to replace them, I'll just have more in my cart, and then when I need them, I'll just order them again. Just putting in some finishing touches here. Getting ready for that. And sometimes I wipe out my cups. Some people save their popsicle sticks. Some people save their gloves. Some people save their cups and wipe out the resin. I don't always do that. And I don't save my gloves. And I don't save the popsicle sticks as a general way of doing things. You might think it's wasteful. You might not care either way. I don't know. But I have so many, and the popsicle sticks are made out of wood. So I'm pretty sure they're biodegradable. Maybe not so much the plastics. It depends on the plastic, what they do with them. But anyway, now I'm talking about renew, reuse, recycle, while we're watching me move around little flower petals and stuff. You can see by the light, you can see there's a spot there that the resin kind of separated from the tray, but it's also because I turned on my desk lamp. I just wanted to make sure there was enough light on the video. I wanted to make sure that everyone could see it. So I'm almost done with this part. Just adding the finishing touches with the flowers and getting them in there and making sure I like the pattern and all that. And I'm looking at these now and I'm like, I don't think I would change a lot with the way things are laid out. I really like the way I have them in there. I like the way it turned out. I mean, this is not the final layer. You won't know it till it's the end, and then we'll see how it turns out. I'm just trying to get those air bubbles out. So today was a weird day. Let me talk about the weather for a second while we're just watching me tap everything and get the air bubbles out. It was over 85 today, and then at night it gets down to like the mid 60s, and it started getting dark at like 7:30 tonight instead of like 9 or 10. So it's definitely summer is about over. I like summer. I like swimming. Summer just doesn't like me. I get sick in the heat. It's just too much. And some of the medications I take, they say you're not supposed to be in the sun a lot. Partly because of that, but also I think because of it makes your skin easier. It's easier to get sunburned with certain medications. So you have to be careful with that. So I think this part is almost done. I'm about finished tapping everything, making sure it's all laying down. I'll have to figure out how to add music to these videos too, because you don't want to hear me talking for 45 minutes. Well, that part I was just showing how I was done, and I was taking my gloves off, and then I like to clean up a little bit before I leave the room to let everything cure. It's just nicer to come into a somewhat clean workspace, and I figure while I'm sitting there I might as well get it all out of the way now. So yeah, that's what I do. You don't realize all the habits you have until you watch yourself do it. But I know the method to my madness. I know the reasons why I do certain things. So there you go. At the last minute, I decided to add some more flowers. Throw in some darker colors just to break it up a little bit. My hands. I'm 51 years old, you know, and I have the wrinkles and the lines and the freckles that I have. It runs in the family. Like even the lines on the knuckles. It's a generational thing. I remember lining up my grandma's fingers, my mom's fingers, and my aunt's fingers. And one aunt didn't have the same patterns on her hands as the rest of us. But I mean, she's still a part of us. She's still our family. I just thought it was cool. We had some of the similar ones, or definitely have some of the similar patterns. So I think I'm done now. Just going to be putting things away. Actually, I think I add one more thing, and I kind of wish I wouldn't have necessarily at this point.
Okay, poured the resin, cleaned up a bit, took off the mask. I just wanted to say that now we let it cure, and I'll leave the room because the resin is still wet. And I use these little nets that you use for like barbecues, food, salad, all that, so flies don't get to it. I do this so my cats won't get into my stuff, or my grandkids, but mainly the cats. So I'll see you for the next step.
And here's the next step, the next layers. You can see on the one tray I threw in some glitter. I feel like I added a little bit too much of the black glitter to it, but we'll see how it turns out. I'm just mixing the resin and then getting it ready, and then when I add colors, I separate some of the clear resin into smaller cups, and then you add your ink or your mica powders or whatever to color it, and then you lay it out however you want. So I'm just gonna be quiet while we watch that, and I'll be back. This is a bag of little mica powders. I actually found it. Let me think about where I found it. I think that was a different set. I believe I found these at a thrift store. There was another bag that I found at, I think it was a Goodwill outlet store. And it looked like eyeshadows, but I was like, I don't know what that is. It wasn't glitter, it wasn't sand. So I bought it, and then later on, working with resin, I found out what it was. It was just mica powders in these little containers, like lip gloss containers, or like the lip balm in the little white container with the yellow lid. They're about that size, and they're just full of mica powder. I like them, and I like the colors, but when you take the lid off, the powder goes everywhere. So it's not my preference. Sometimes the mica powders come in baggies too. It's definitely not my preference, but it's okay. You know, it's all there. It was inexpensive. It adds to what I can do, so it's all good. It's all good. You can see that I am putting a little bit of resin in the smaller cup. Sorry, it's to the side a little bit. I was trying to keep the trays in the shot. But I love all this. I love the learning process. I love trying new things. And I honestly, why did I start a YouTube channel? It just sounded like fun. I thought, well, if I made money at it, that'd be great. But clearly you don't do that right away. Like, it takes time. It takes work. It takes, work. It takes an effort to build up your subscribers and people to just watch, But meanwhile, I'm just having fun doing it, I have some interviews scheduled, and then I'll be posting those soon. See if I need to edit them once they're done. We'll go from there. This editing thing is definitely new. So here I'm just picking out some different colors. I'm looking at what I have in the tray to see what will match what I have, and figuring out how I want to mix them in on the tray. I want to put them together. That one's nice because it's not clear and it's not glittery, it's not overwhelming, but it still, adds some color to it. And I use different sticks for each color, obviously, because you don't want to mix the colors. And like I said, popsicle sticks, they're easy to work with. They stay sturdy. They don't get soft while you're working with them. And then you can save them if you want, wipe them off, use them again, whatever you want to do. Or toss them out and get a new one next time. Just whatever you want. There's no rules. I wish that it was a little bit closer just so you could see how pretty the colors are. They're pretty bold. I like to have mine. I don't like working with resin and the mica powders or the inks where you can see through it. I don't know why. I just like something solid when I'm working with this stuff. I don't necessarily like to go, but I've seen a lot of people's projects and they are clear and they're actually very pretty. So I guess I just have to think outside the box, and like I said, just try new things. I like to mix things in with the resin. I love color. Like all my tattoos except for, nope, all my tattoos have color. I don't mind black and gray, but for me, I love colors. I love all the beauty that there is to have, you know? So that's what I add. Here I am just pouring in the different colors, and the thing about resin is it moves and it all pulls toward the center. So just when you work with it, know that that's going to happen. Like I can start out with everything in the place that it is, but then it's going to push into each other. You can see it moving both directions there, where it's mixing in with the fuchsia as well as it's just moving to the center. It's just drawn to itself, you know? Different colors, but it's all drawn toward the same spot. And they just kind of fight each other somewhat, I guess is a way to put it. I try and make sure this is the last coat. This is the last layer. It's the bottom of the tray. So it's going to, you'll see. You'll see how I blend them together. See how the white is taking over? So then I add more of the other color so that it pushes the white back up to the edge there. And these will push down, and you know, it's just this constant cause and effect. And I love it. See, it's pushing the green out, so then we'll add more green, and then it'll push against the other way. But I watched a bunch of videos to learn all these things. I didn't just figure it out on my own. I didn't know what I was doing, but I wanted to learn how to do it and enjoy it. And yeah, I just have a lot of hobbies, or I can just say people call craft people makers, because we're always making things, just so many different things. And then you can see the colors are kind of mixing together, but you'll see what I'm going to do next. And I love it. I love the next part. Just getting it all out of the cup. I don't want to waste any, you know, and sometimes you do a bigger project and then you have resin left over, so you want to keep these little small molds. Like I have different keychain size. I have Jack Skellington one. I have heart. I have some with paw prints. I have just a whole bunch of little things, and I try and keep them close or the drawer that they're in is close to my desk, so I can just grab them real quick and fill them up. See, it's not level. And I like swirling it so that, I mean, if they're going to meld with each other, they might as well, you know, swirl together. Then it kind of keeps it from moving around, because it's stuck together now. Like, where else is it going to go? Just mix them all together. And then it blends, and then as it cures, you know, it still moves. It's still going to move. But at least then you kind of have some control over it in a way. At least that part. Right there, I'm going around the edge, trying to release any air bubbles that might be stuck in there, because I can't really move the tray right now because it is full and I don't want to spill it anywhere. So I can use those. I don't recommend using something sharp. Like you don't want to use a toothpick. You don't want to use the tweezers. You want to use something that's kind of smooth and soft. So I'll use the popsicle sticks, or I'll use these other ones that I have that I showed a picture of them the other night in a different video. They're plastic, and then they have a small cotton tip on them, like a small tiny little Q-tip kind of. So you can use that on the edges of things on the tray, so you don't scratch the tray, but then you can still help release the air bubbles that might be stuck in there. So some of the stuff that I did earlier, I cleaned up off camera, but you see what I do. Like I said, I like to come back to a clean work environment, get things out of the way, so there's less of a chance of a big mess happening if I leave things out and like my cats jump on the desk or something, so things aren't spilled all over the place. And I don't bump them if they're not there. I want to get them out of the way and be able to do what I want to do. So the last part is I'm going to pour the last coat onto the bottom of this tray. And then we'll just, excuse me. And I can't cut that yarn out because I don't know what I'm doing very well. So we're just going to bear with me here. Thanks everyone for the support, and anybody who comes along that's new, hi, thank you for watching. Please like, comment if you'd like, any ideas or any feedback, or just to say, hey, I think you're doing great. And subscribe, please. And feel free to share it too. If you know people that might be interested in learning these things, and I mean, even if you don't want to listen to the voiceover, you can just mute it and watch the video. I do that sometimes. I do that during meetings sometimes. I do it even when I'm at home. I multitask quite a bit, and I think I'm paying attention to two things, but really I'm like paying attention to one thing and then going back and forth. But it's just something that I do. I have so many interests, my mind just goes 10 different directions sometimes. I like a movie that can hold my attention, or a TV show, where I'm not feeling like I need to change it, or I get bored with it, or I can walk away and not even think about the fact that I was watching a movie or a TV show. So, yeah. Right here I'm just mixing the resin. I'll get better at this and I'll be able to skip these things, because you already know how I mix my resin because I showed it to you like 20 minutes ago. So, or speed it up at least. For one big video, I wanted to show like the steps of everything and the do's and don'ts and the consequences of doing the do's or don'ts, and just like the whole process. I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss anything. So, literally just mixing the resin here. I swear, you guys, I'll figure out how to speed everything up and how to add music so you don't have to listen to me the whole time. And, okay, that was kind of negative. Not that you mind listening to me, but it's definitely more relaxing if, like, some music's playing and you're just watching the video to watch it. You can hear my family in the background and the TV and everything going on. It's crazy. It's definitely not an insulated room, I'll tell you that. But it's okay. There's always things going on in this home. And when it's super quiet, I like it for a while, and then it gets kind of sad. Kind of lonely at times. But, I'm free to leave whenever I want if I want to be around people, or, the grandkids aren't here all the time. But when they are, there's a lot going on. And I definitely encourage them to do crafts. They love painting, they love playing games. They also like being outside and getting dirty, and that's how I grew up, was playing with my cousins, making mud pies and playing restaurant and all this cool stuff. My mom always had like these receipts. I think they were from her job or something, just like sales receipts, you write it out on the notepad. So we had those, and then we'd just play restaurant or secretary or whatever we felt like doing, and it was just a lot of fun. That white was getting pushed out, it's pretty thin, so I had a little more room left to fill up the tray. You kind of want to dome the back actually, because it kind of shrinks down into the tray and then you have a sharp edge. So you kind of do want to make sure that it is a full tray, because it kind of sinks down, I guess. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but yeah, you don't want the sharp lip, because you can actually cut yourself on it. It's so sharp. I have a deburring tool, it's called, and it's just you go around the edge and cut the sharp edges off, but I'm still learning how to use it well. My boyfriend, first time he does it, boom, gets it right. No problem. So I just have to practice with mine more to get good at it and not feel like I'm putting dents in everything. You can also use an X-Acto blade, X-Acto knife, but then you have to be careful not to have it slide off and cut your finger or your thumb. It's kind of like peeling potatoes, I guess. I just love that color. It's like a pink. It's not really magenta, but it's just a really pretty dark pink color. It's not really a rose color either. It's just more of a red-ish pink. And I really like mixing colors. But I do some solid backgrounds too. It just depends. I have these UV DTF transfers that I use. And honestly, how did I even end up on those? You know what I'm saying? It's just one thing after another, man. YouTube, you see one video and then it leads into another video and it leads into another video, and I just love it. Once I got started watching YouTube, I was watching it to learn how to do different wire wrapping techniques, because I took classes from this woman local, but I knew there was more out there too, and I thought, well, I'll just see if I could find this kind of design and how to do it, or find this kind of design and just figure out how to do it and just go from there, and so I just love how many people share what they know on YouTube, and also other formats, platforms that are available out there, the social media. I just really like YouTube because pretty much, well, this is good and bad, pretty much anything you can think of is going to be on there. And if you want to learn something, the thing that gets me though is like, this is the best way to share your YouTube video, and this is the best way to edit it, and put it as public and put it as private, and then set a timer. And so it's like, I've tried all the things, and basically it's just going to take time to get more subscribers and more people following. I mean, it just takes time, and there's editing that you have to do, and the way to set up the files, and I've learned all these things, and it's because people take the time to teach us how to do the things. And I really appreciate that. So I wanted my video to show, I wanted to make sure I didn't forget anything, and share all these little things that you may not think about the first time you do something. You need to know the steps and the safety precautions and all that to do what you're doing. And here I thought this looked like the Mexican flag. It's not red though, it's just like a pink fuchsia color. And then I'll swirl them all together and then let it cure. Well, I guess we're adding some more green. I don't want to waste it, Waste not, want not. Don't let it go to waste. Costs money. If you guys could see my whole desk, it looks kind of cluttered and all mashed up, but I like to have the things I use the most close by, because with resin you only have a certain amount of time to work with it. And with EcoPore you really, really have only a certain amount of time to work with it. So I like to have, you know, the cups, my sticks, my resin, my molds. I like to have everything close by so that if I have to do something all of a sudden, or, you know, last minute, then I want it right by me. Otherwise you can miss your window of being able to add or take away things. And there you can see I'm putting the popsicle stick there just to prop that one end up, because I don't know what happened. Everything was fine for a long time. Now all of a sudden, it might be the trays, it might be the resin that I'm using, I don't know, but I didn't used to have a problem with the tray being, or the trays being heavier on one side than the other. I'll just keep finishing up, and I'm almost done. Just those last touches. Trying to get the white to spread out more. But I do hope everybody likes this video. I know it's super long, and I'll get better at this, and it's just fun. You know, there's all these different apps you can use to edit and add sounds and text, and I sound like an old lady now. I sound like somebody that was frozen for 50 years and now these new things are happening. What are you gonna do, you know? What are you gonna do? This is one of those molds I have. It's a little mold, and I can just put the layers of resin, and I have no rhyme or reason to it. I'm just like, I'm just gonna put it in a mold and not waste the resin. So we'll see how it turns out. I did demold it, and I haven't shown a picture of it. And then there's a little globe that I did too, of all these little projects where I was doing something with flowers. So I didn't have any more resin, so I just threw the flowers in this little mold, and it's a little globe, and it's cute. I really do like it, but it's all hodgepodge together with leftovers, just so it's not wasted, because otherwise it just cures in the cup and it's just sitting there. You have to throw it out because you can't do anything with it. It's kind of like hair dye. You only have a certain amount of time to work with it, and then it's done. Okay, these are just the finishing touches now. Trying to speed this up. That looks weird. Okay, I'm just cleaning up my mess now.
Okay guys, that's the end. Now we let it cure. Okay, here we are. We're gonna do the unmolding, the reveal of both these trays, and then I'll finish it up with the top coat. Let's see how they turned out. Oh, that's not bad. It was a little bit too dark of glitter though. I put a little extra glitter on the back, so you can't see all the flowers, but I didn't put that much in either in this one. You can kind of see the spider webs. What do you guys think? like it. It's not bad. I don't even need a top coat on that one. Now this is the one I'm going to put some jewels on her face. But I'm going to use UV resin. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That I love. That I absolutely love. Oh my gosh. You can see the little bit of glitter in the flowers. And the lavender. Not lavender, but yeah. That's so cool. I don't know if I need jewels on it. I might just leave it the way it is. But I love putting jewels in the eyes. I think it just adds a little something. I'll put one on and see if I like it. And if I do, I'll decoupage it. Or I'll put it on. This one feels a little wonky. I'll be right back. I'm going to get a stone. There we go. So I think I got these. Yeah, I got these from Temu. There's all different sizes of stones in here. You can see all different sizes, so I like to pick one that suits the size of the eye. I do need to top coat this one because it feels rough, feels sticky. So I'll take one of these, put it right in her pupil. That one's small, I don't like it. Get a bigger one. I like using these actually. Where is it? There's static in here. Oh, that's a heart. There's the one I like. Oh, I might be out. I use one of these bigger round ones. Yeah, that looks better. That looks better. Sometimes I like to put them on the lips too, but I don't know, I think that's too much. How's that look? With the crystal in the eye. I like it. Okay, so I'm going to get some UV resin. Stick that one down. Here's my UV light. It's only one side. So if you have a whole thing like a pendant to do, you have to put it here one time and then switch it around like this and do the other side. Get all this out of my way. Okay. So I'll take this off. You technically could use gloves and a mask to do this, but right now I'm not doing this for long, so I'm not feeling like I need to do any of that. I'm not inhaling it directly right now. I need to see if it's centered. Okay, it's centered. So we'll put the UV light on it, 60 seconds. I love cleaning up as I go, or, you know, I'll like take a day and clean all my resin, the molds, and if I can save the cups I do. If not, I throw them out, because I just have these little plastic cups. They have the ounces on one side, and then they have milliliters on the other side, and I just go by the ounces, and I know approximately how much each of these trays takes. Like the bigger ones take a little bit more. I think I made these with 8 ounces each, and I still needed a little bit more. And then if you go over, you just fill up random things that you can find, like this. I'll have to do something to finish this one, and I need to finish this one. It's almost full. It's got these little fake clouds in it. You can't really see it. And then different flowers, layers of flowers. Okay, I'm going to do it another 60 seconds. So you're supposed to be able to use the UV resin. They recommend that it's done, what do they recommend? With a clear background, like in these molds, or the little ones. I don't have any little ones out here right now. I have a Jack Skellington one, but I think I put it away. But that one's pink, so it doesn't really work. I've tried it. So once this is done, we'll take a look, and then I'll put a small layer of resin on top of this. We'll be good to go. I'll probably do this one too, just because it shines it up. And then that'll be that. And then when it's done tomorrow, I will do the final reveal. There's lots of little air bubble pockets here.
I just want to tell everyone thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it wasn't too long and torturous, just because it is such a long one, but hang in there with me. I'm learning and growing and always challenging myself. So I hope that everyone enjoys this, and I can't wait to make some more and have people check out more and more different ideas.
And it'll all be in one video.
So again, like, share, comment.
Okay, see you then.
Have a good night.